was pretty bad. So a couple of years ago, I had pancreatitis 8 or 9 times, and I was hospitalized. And you would think that would be enough for me to stop drinking, because your pancreas, you don't get a new one. That doesn't grow back or anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't regenerate or fix itself. I don't know. I ended up bargaining with myself in saying that it was because of hard alcohol, but it wasn't about alcohol. It was just, I was just drinking the wrong type of alcohol. And so I would quit the hard alcohol, and I drank like White Claws for a couple of years and wine.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to welcome you to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. Just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Sober Strong Apparel. Sober Strong Apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. Heavyweight tees, hoodies, and gear for ones who draw a hard line. Clean, sober, no compromise. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor. And every piece you throw on says you're a part of the crew that doesn't back down. Every order fuels recovery with 10% donated to treatment facilities, because we don't just talk about it, we stand on it. So go to SoberStrongApparel.com, use code ROCKBOTTOM, all capital letters, for 15% off. Now 15% off. Awesome site, awesome clothes. Quality is amazing. The clothes looks good. Wearing a shirt as we speak. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and definitely check out SoberStrongApparel.com. All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan and Rachel, here with my co-host Rachel Sereni, and we have Holly Savannah Hansen on today as our guest. Holly, how you doing?
Hi.
Well, glad to finally have you on. I know we talked about doing the show a while back, but you were pretty dead set on doing this after you've been a year sober, which I totally respect and understand. First couple questions are, what were your drink of choice, and what was your sobriety date, and where you're from?
Boston, Massachusetts originally. I'm from Lowell. And my sobriety date, I know, we have another mass hole.
Sorry.
My sobriety date is 12/6/24. And my drink of choice was anything, which just sounds terrible. Yeah, I did not discriminate against alcohol. Towards the end, it was like
anything
vodka with like White Claw.
I can feel you there.
But
yeah, me too.
a lot of vodka. Terrible.
Yeah, me too.
All right, well, let's get into kind of like how it all started. What was life like growing up? What was your family dynamic, and like what led up to you drinking in the first place?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of addiction in my family. A lot of suicide and addiction and mental illness. My first drink was when I was 8 years old, and it was given to me by my mother and my aunt. And my mom I have a twin brother, and she had us when she was a teenager, so she was growing up as well. But I had a grape wine cooler, and I remember that I liked the taste of it, and I liked the validation that I got. I liked the attention from my mom, because she was very busy a lot. And that was kind of like one of the first moments I think I was like, oh, I have her attention. So from there, the first time I got drunk was when I was 13. My childhood was not stable. It was a lot. I don't want to say anything negative about my mom, but I wasn't safe. I wasn't protected growing up, and we were left with a lot of different babysitters. And one of them was very sexually abusive. He molested us, and then another one would steal from us. There was another woman who chain smoked and would like threaten us with like cigarette butts and stuff, putting it out. It was a lot, and I remember just feeling afraid a lot. I didn't feel like safe, like I said. And the first time I got drunk was when I was 13, and I was never allowed to go back to that friend's house. But we moved from the city to Westford, which is like a suburb, because my mom went to school and worked really, really hard to create a better life for us. But I don't have too many memories of being young. I know like I have some happy ones, but a lot of those, I have a lot of really, really sad ones. So just like a lot of trauma there. And then as a teenager, I started drinking a lot. Um,
Yeah.
I moved out when I was 16, and then I got my first apartment when I was 17. I had 2 jobs, and I just drank a lot. I did graduate high school and took a year off before I went to college. It just kind of felt normal in college, I guess. I didn't think anything was too wrong because everybody else around me was doing it, which sounds really ignorant because if you jump off a bridge, if your friends are jumping off bridges, are you gonna do it? But, yeah. I don't know. I had a lot. I used alcohol at first as a way to get rid of anxiety. And then throughout the years, it just became a physical dependency and an easy way to use it if I had a bad day or a good day.
Mm.
How much do
Mm.
you think you were
Um,
drinking at first?
Probably like a six pack at first when I was like a teenager. And then obviously you build a tolerance and it definitely just increased. I'm trying to think of how much how far you want me to go up into my story. But my 20s, I lived in LA for 8 years.
I want to backtrack just a tad. And this is a little deep. And if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to answer this. But how did suicide and mental illness and addiction growing up in your family change your dynamic and understanding like pain and survival in your own life
My
as a
goodness,
young child?
I couldn't
Great question.
I had to carry a lot of yeah, that's
We
okay.
go deep.
That's
We go
that's
deep, girl.
that's good because that's what's healing. It made me hyper independent as an adult. It made me feel like I can't ask for help or show weakness or show emotions. I would get yelled at if I cried at all. So I still to this day feel uncomfortable with like emotions and expressing
Mm.
myself. I took care of my mom a lot. I took care of my brother a lot. I learned how to cook when I was like 6 years old,
Hmm.
but it just forced me to be hyper independent and not ask for help in
Mm.
general. As a child, if I was struggling with any emotions or anything like that, it was ignored and I was told not to cry or complain. And almost like a competitive like thing like, well, this happened to me when I was young and you have it so much better. It felt like really just didn't feel positive. I would cook for myself and my brother, like, I learned how to cook when I was, like, 6 years old, and, yeah, I just kind of just kept everything in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as you got older, like in your teen years, like, did you say you're kind of suffering from some kind of anxiety and depression or social anxiety and stuff like that? And that was making you want to drink more?
Not at first, it was just fun at first. I liked I liked being with friends, and I definitely was a little rebellious. I never got into trouble or anything, and I wasn't promiscuous, but I was just very doing whatever I wanted type of thing. And I did graduate high school. I never had bad grades, but I just didn't go to school. I just didn't really care. I kind of felt like I was in survival mode. Like I had 2 jobs as a teenager and all I was focused on was like, okay, I need to get my apartment and I need to like my friend had family issues, so like she moved in with me and I just wanted to also take care of her too. So I feel like I was just like taking care of people around me 'cause I knew
Yeah.
what it was to, like, feel lonely and neglected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you were kind of reciprocating what you did throughout childhood, basically. And it
Yeah,
was just,
caretaker,
yeah. And
a
you were
little
numbing now at this point. You were drinking at this point, right?
yeah, definitely, and I had a
Mm-hmm.
fake
And what,
ID, so I could alcohol whenever I
mm,
wanted, and I knew the places to go where they wouldn't even card me at all because I would tip them good because I worked in the service industry too. Yeah, I just didn't wanna even talk about, like, what I had gone through. I was just angry. I was so angry,
Yeah.
and I really lashed out too. I was like I would get, um, drunk and then I would just be angry. So,
Would this like anger, would it carry into things like, say, getting into relationships with significant others and like friendships, or how would it affect you with like your relationships?
I didn't really have, like, significant others during that time. I was more focused on just working, and I just would lash out at my parents a lot, or if there was, like, any type of authority figure, then I wouldn't really respect them, I would argue with them. Like, but I was still polite, like, I never lost a job or anything, but I would just definitely there was times that I probably should've because I would be like, just say whatever I thought without a filter.
Another deep one coming from me. What do you wish adults would have done differently for you at that time?
I wish that I had been heard about what I had gone through, with being molested. That is one of the biggest things that I felt like for some reason it embarrassed like my mom, and my mom has a lot of trauma that happened to her, and I don't know if she just had guilt over it, but she just really brushed it off. And even as an adult, I had talked about it with her, and she said it never happened, and then she finally admitted, like, we didn't talk for, like, years, and she finally admitted, like, "Well, you told me," and this is really graphic, but she's like, "Well, you never told me, like, he, like, touched you guys, you just said that he showed you, like, his penis," and I was like, "Really, mom? Like, you don't think that
That's still
that's"
bad.
Right,
That's
but
really messed up.
it was yeah, it was pretty bad, like, it just made me feel like and she's like, "Well, you have no idea what I went through," and I'm like, "That we're not this isn't about
Yeah.
this is not a competition."
Oh, so like how that affected relationships. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a tough subject,
I
so
laugh
I get
all
it.
the time. The
So
coping
your mom,
mechanism.
so yeah, my mother as well minimized it because I tried to tell her when I was younger and older, and both times, brushed off.
Yeah. It's probably I'd imagine it would be difficult for a parent to hear that. But also that's when I think like as a parent you should acknowledge and validate and say I'm so sorry that happened to you and I didn't protect you and admit to that and not say that never happened or ignore it. Like that's even worse, you know. That's really bad. That messes with
Yeah, you
someone
needed
mentally.
help.
So was that
Yeah.
something that was, when you started to drinking started to get heavy, do you think you were trying to numb some of those traumas?
Absolutely. I didn't understand why I didn't have what all my friends had. They had parents that really loved them and cared about them and cared where they were at night or cared like what they were doing or who they're hanging out with. They're like they didn't want them to drink. Meanwhile, I'm getting handed like wine coolers and drinks and my mom's would throw parties and stuff and like I'd be allowed to drink and do whatever I wanted. And I, like, really craved, like, structure, and I craved whatever I know no family's normal, but I craved some sense of normalcy. I didn't want an older sister, I wanted a mother. So,
Mhm.
that was hard. I didn't have any guidance. I've had to figure a lot of things out by myself, which
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I definitely have, like, always tried to, like, gravitate towards maternal figures that could give me that support or just have the knowledge and wisdom.
I
So
understand that. I hope you know that that's part of my story, looking for maternal figures and because my mother was not around as well. And it's always been a search. And I crave one day, hopefully God will give me a daughter. But until then, I have men all around me, including a son, and Ryan, best friend, like literally all my pets are boys and I'm masculine energy is what is all around me. I do crave maternal and feminine energy and I understand where you're coming from. And for a while I used that to numb too. And I would hang out with girls who really didn't care about me, right? They were bullies. So I get that feeling and it's sad. I understand that, especially, I'm personally about to get married, so I get it. It's lonely. It could feel lonely. 'Cause, like, men don't care about certain things, you know?
Yeah. I think
and we don't
Mhm.
it's
understand a
kinda
lot either.
Right. They kinda yeah,
I mean, I'm just being
yeah,
honest, speaking on behalf of men.
it's
Yeah,
true.
we don't understand a lot about what you women go through. So
that's fair. There's a lot. I mean, I won't get into the topic of feminism. There's just a lot. I don't the women that are in my life are we uplift each other and we don't there's no competition. I can't be around people like that. I need to be around people um that have their own thing going for themselves and we lean in on each other and
build each other up.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm super lucky because
yeah.
I that now, but I didn't before. So I
Mhm.
am lucky in that respect. I've had really great friends throughout my life that have become family. I've had the same best friend since childhood. And even her mom, like she saw all of what happened growing up and she's right there. She's like a mom to me too. And then my aunt has always been just like a rock. She's not an aunt by blood. She was my mom's best friend growing up. So yeah, I'm gonna go visit her, I think, in April. I'm excited for like spring break.
Awesome. Awesome. And I have a question myself. When did substances, or in your case alcohol, start feeling like relief instead of just recreational, like numbing? Was that at 13 immediately, or was that like gradually?
No, that was like immediate. It
Mm,
was, yeah, that was definitely immediate. It wasn't anything that I was like I drank intentionally to escape. It was a form of escapism. It wasn't anything I necessarily enjoy doing. Like who enjoys feeling like shit the next day or feeling sick or dehydrated? Nobody, but I like the relief it brought from my head, getting out of my head and all those stuff
yeah.
that was going.
When did it start to like be where you thought you were physically dependent, like waking up, maybe having withdrawals or realizing I need it, I don't just want it anymore?
It's such a tough line. I think I went through, I don't know. It's weird to look back because I feel like I've gone through withdrawals a couple times, but I just wasn't aware of it. And I just like it kind of like it wasn't as extreme as like as what happened to me, but probably in my early 20s. And I would like take a week off or something. Like I just kind of like rest and give myself a break and then I'd go right back to it almost harder. I mean, I can remember going to the hospital when I lived in Los Angeles thinking it was a kidney stone, but who knows now? Maybe it was like pancreatitis. It felt the same and yeah, I'm not sure. I know that I when I didn't drink, I would have anxiety, but it got really blurry quickly because I would drink daily. I would wake up and I would drink. I would always have something on me. Even if it didn't look like it, I would have like a little like nip, like I don't know, like in Boston they call it nips, but they're like small bottles,
Yeah.
like all just like
Airplane
yeah,
shots and
like I'd
stuff.
have it somewhere,
Nip it.
like hide it in, my shirt or like my pocket.
Had them in my
So you caught
pit.
yourself sneaking drinks a lot and hiding it a lot?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's all I was great at hiding it. That's even up until I almost died. Some friends, I'm like, "You're not," like, 'cause I think that sometimes people are being nice when they say, "I had no idea you had such an issue with it," and I'm like, "There's no way. How could you not know?"
Yeah.
But yeah, so
We master hiding it and putting that mask on and acting
and it
like everything's fine and
would
normal.
be exhausting to plan my life around
Mhm.
when my next drink would be or like, "Oh, is this kid's place gonna have, like, drinks available?" Like, or how much should I bring with me?
Does Chuck E. Cheese serve alcohol? Yeah, I've
Yeah.
looked that up before. I have a question here. So what was your like 24-hour period while, in heavy addiction prior to quitting? What was that like for you?
Like not back then, but like the before I quit?
Like your daily life prior to making the decision of quitting. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was pretty bad. So, a couple years ago, I had pancreatitis 8 or 9 times, and I was hospitalized, and you would think that would be enough for me to stop drinking because your pancreas, you don't get a new one. That doesn't grow back or anything, or you know what I mean? Doesn't regenerate or fix itself. I don't know, I ended up bargaining with myself in saying that it was because of hard alcohol, but it wasn't about alcohol. It was just I was just drinking the wrong type of alcohol. And so I would quit the hard alcohol and I drank like White Claws for a couple years and wine. I didn't think that was as bad, which I have to laugh at myself. It was just really, really bad denial. And then I had an instance where my twin, so as I'm going through all of my addiction issues, he has a lot as well. I can't speak on it now. We are not in touch, but he has his own story. And at that time, ended up taking a lot of Benadryl and overdosing he had brain damage and was in the hospital and did a lot of damage to his brain. And then that's when I kind of just went, I don't really care if I drink vodka. And I went from not having the hard alcohol, but then I just introduced it again and I drank probably like a 12 pack of White Claw, sometimes 18 of them. Like after a while, I feel like they just go down like water. And then I would drink like Tito's, I forget the milliliters on it, but it wasn't a small bottle. It was like the medium sized one. And I would like finish that
Yeah.
in a day. hmm And then I would
Mhm.
start in the morning with like orange juice and vodka. And I would never get this is what I told myself. I never appeared drunk, but I would always stay buzzed. Like I never got
Yep.
like super drunk throughout the day, still got all my stuff done that I needed to get done. But did I really? Like, no, complete lie.
Yeah, just maintaining, you know.
Just
Yeah.
maintaining. I couldn't even go to the mailbox without having a drink first because I didn't want to
God,
run
I
into a
know that
neighbor
feeling.
in the hallway and have a conversation where I'm like sweating, dying,
Yeah,
like because I
shaking.
haven't had my drink yet and I don't want to interact with anyone. I don't even want to make eye contact with anyone because I was like, I'm not like I can't talk to anybody right now. Like I'm so
Yeah.
shaky.
Yeah, not stable, not feeling it, and can't think straight. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'd freak out. Like I have to go to the grocery store to buy more alcohol, so I need to drink as much as I can before I go to the grocery store, so I'm not
Yeah.
shaking when I give them my debit card.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I switched to Instacart because then I didn't have
Yeah, see,
sorry.
convenience.
And I didn't have to like go there. And I was like, this is great. COVID happened and I was like, this is perfect. Like I don't have
Right.
to go out anymore because like and everybody else is
You're
getting
not
drunk
allowed.
and everyone's like,
Yeah.
this is normal. And I was like, well, this is my already normal, so great. Everybody's joining me. It was so demented.
Yes.
Yep,
It
Yes.
I
I
know the
was just
feeling.
sharing I was sharing recently how my family had like a group chat, my Irish Bostonian side. And it was a group chat of us all just chugging out of the wine bottle. And it would be around the same time every single day during COVID when we were all quarantined. And it was like a family funny thing and group in the group chat. Now I'm like looking back at it, I'm like, that's not okay. That wasn't okay.
No, no, all these
yeah,
insane things we did. It's like the effort we put in,
yeah,
all
there's
the
Yeah.
sleazy, shady things we did just to get our sips in. I was just like, oh my gosh. I would make so many, I'd plan it out. Like when I'd go to a gathering or something, I would leave alcohol in my car and I would just keep making every
uh
excuse. I got to make a quick phone call and then sneak off to the car, take a pull, walk back in. It was
yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
I was like at the point of not caring and I would just carry a water bottle around because eventually the carbonation from the White Claw would just look clear and it looked like water. And I remember asking me for a sip and I was like, that's not water. And she's like, what? And I was like, sorry.
I know. I would have a spiked Gatorade where I would pour out half the Gatorade, fill the rest of the vodka, and then I'd be drinking it at work, and people would be like, "Oh, let me take a sip," and I'm like, "Nah, this is my Gatorade. I'm very particular about anybody taking sips of my drink."
Yeah.
I had to like sound really serious so nobody would touch it, but I'm like, I'm sure it was really suspicious though.
Well,
Kinda.
I'd be like, no, it's not a lie. I actually am a germaphobe, but like I'd be like, I don't share drinks like that, you
Yeah,
know?
and I really don't, but still, it's like, no, they're gonna taste that and know that I've been spiking my drinks at work, so it's embarrassing
Okay,
to
I
think
do
about.
I do have a question. What has helped you learn what has happened to you in your past that was not your fault?
What has helped me
Yeah.
talking about it instead of being ashamed about it.
Mhm.
Actually, I went to therapy, and this was when I was still drinking, so I didn't really share with my therapist about my alcoholism, again, afraid of the stigma. But I would share about my childhood, and then she would be like, "Well, you need to be sober to do this type of, like, therapy, the rapid eye movement." And
Yeah,
that you like, it reprograms your brain when you think about when you think about the event, and I was
I do
terrified to
that.
You do? Is that
Yeah.
helpful? I'm just curious. I know everybody is different, but I've been
It's
intimidated to
very,
do
very,
that.
very hard, but yes, it's very helpful if you have PTSD. If you wanna know more, I mean, I'll talk about this openly, but if you
Yeah, we
wanna know more detail, I could DM you or whatever about it. But yes, EMDR for the listeners, the rapid eye movement thing that goes on and it takes you back to the traumatic experience. Like literally, you go back into the event that you have PTSD from and you do a tapping and you have a licensed therapist that guides you through it. And there's a sound you listen to, and you go back to it, and she repeats, you just keep thinking of the event and what comes to your mind. And then she stops it, and then you bring it up, and then you go back with that feeling, and you keep revisiting it until it becomes easier, if that
yeah,
makes any
maybe
sense.
like desensitize to it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I was,
Yeah.
but you have to be sober to do it. You cannot be under any type of substance.
Yeah.
So I was honest with her about that. So we never went down that road. But just she really helped me. And then finding a community, like finding other alcoholics and sharing it with them, I think really has helped me. Because the opposite of addiction is connection. And
Mhm.
yeah, I need to be around people that understand what I have gone through and don't look at me like I am crazy when I tell them like how I used to drink. And yeah, just I think talking about stuff. It's okay.
So what happened, just backtracking a little, what happened like once it got to where it started affecting your health? Was that like before you had your son or after, or when did that start to kind of hit to the point where you're like, I need to quit this?
Okay, I was definitely drinking heavily. I met my son's father. He was visiting LA and he's from Vancouver, Washington. So we were like long distance for a year and I would visit him and I would like hide how much I drank. And then when we moved in together, like he's like a normie, so to say. Oh goodness, this is a little heavy, but I found out on the day of my baby shower that I was being cheated on the whole pregnancy. And there was a lot of women and stuff. So I didn't drink during pregnancy at all. When I had my son, I definitely started drinking again. And I was trying to make my relationship work because I didn't want to be a single mother. And there was like promises of like going to like therapy for like addiction and stuff like that. And then we moved and then I found a second phone when I was like when we were just moving our stuff. And that's really set off my drinking of with postpartum depression and then just dealing with all of the betrayal and feeling trapped as well. Feeling like I don't have any type of support system. I moved away from my friends that became my family in Los Angeles. I moved away from everybody that I could lean on, and I felt really isolated, and my drinking just really took off. But I still had to like I breastfed for 13 months, so like it was very planned drinking so that I didn't harm Everett or my son. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say his name.
It's okay.
But yeah, so that was super planned. And once I was done breastfeeding, I was like, and it was it was rough with the
Yeah.
relationship part, and then there was a lot of physical abuse too.
Mm.
Sorry.
And when he was like 1.5, I left, but it took me a little bit to leave because I was scared. And
Of course.
I was definitely dependent on alcohol by then to function and to feel normal and not cry or not have panic attacks because I had really bad PTSD. Even if there was like someone slamming a cabinet, I would just like jump because I didn't know if that was like something that was going to happen. Like
Something getting
some
thrown at you.
not well, yeah, that happened, but just like a lot like I got strangled and stuff and like picked up by my neck and like thrown down. All of that though,
Jeez.
therapy really helped me with that because I can talk about that and it's like the way that I see it, it's like if I'm like on a train, I can just like go by that memory and acknowledge it happened. I don't have to get off at that stop. I can just say, "Oh yeah, that did happen." And
Right.
it doesn't surprisingly mess with me as much. But then again, it's been not a couple of years. It's been 8 No, 7 years or so, but I did a lot of work on that, even when I was drinking, but the childhood stuff, I don't know. It just that really messed with me.
Hmm.
I think regardless of whatever has happened, I would have drank anyway. I'm an alcoholic, like, not an active alcoholic, but that's just how my brain works. Like, I would've ended up, I think, no matter what happened, I would drink when I was happy, I would drink when I celebrated, like, there was always a reason to drink, and even more so
Yeah.
when I had
Right.
something bad.
Of course.
You don't feel
Because
like you
that's
had
how
any
you cope.
support in your life? Like, no support basically because you were getting and trying to get out of that toxic relationship and trying to just raise your son at the same time. You felt pretty alone, I assume?
Yeah, I felt so alone. I didn't wanna live, but I wasn't brave enough to, like, kill myself, but I could passively kill myself.
A lot of us were passively suicidal, just being like, I don't care if this kills me someday, but I'm not gonna put a gun to my head. So,
Right.
yeah.
I'm like, "Well, whatever happens," which is awful. Like,
Yeah.
that's a bad place to be, you know?
I know.
Woof! I don't
I
miss
said some
that.
dark things to people when I was at my worst, and they made wellness calls to my house, because they thought I was actually gonna kill myself, and I was just like, "I'm tired of this life. I've had enough of it." I'd say stuff like that, and I wouldn't even remember texting those things, but then the cops would show up, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. I don't know what I talked about. Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to sleep."
You're gonna go to bed. Sorry
Yeah,
for
but
the upsetting all you.
I know.
so
It's like and then you feel like you have to censor yourself after that because you don't wanna scare people. But I just like, that's
Mhm.
genuinely how I felt. I was like, I felt trapped and I felt like, well, if this is how I have to live, then I don't wanna live anymore. I was so tired.
You said that you left. You finally got the courage to leave. Did you continue to drink, or was that your surrender moment into going into sobriety?
No, no way. I was very chemically
Mhm.
dependent on that. I was just saying, like, I used alcohol as a way to, like, get the bravery as well to leave, and I was just alone, living alone, and I could do whatever I wanted, and that was pretty bad, having that freedom and not it's like a really messed up way to think of it, but, like, at least if I was in a separate bedroom, it's not like I could, like, pound, like, vodka and not have any accountability. I'd still have him even if we weren't together, like, he would be like, "Why are you doing that?" But it was just really
Right.
destructive.
when did it become to the point where, like, what was your last? You said something about you almost dying. Did that have? Was that related to alcohol?
Like, for with my sobriety, I was hospitalized, like, a lot for, just repercussions of drinking, and everything came to a head. My sobriety date's December 6th of 2024, and I felt really sick. I knew that I was really sick 'cause I kept, like I just felt weird and I didn't feel normal, like, I don't know I don't know how to say it. I looked up life insurance as well, and that was, like, 2 months before I actually almost died. That's how much I was drinking and how much I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna, like, be around a lot longer." And I woke up one of the mornings and I was yellow, like jaundice.
Mm.
And I felt really tired that whole week before, and I was sleeping a lot, and I just thought maybe I was just, like, just tired from everything else that I was doing, like school and work and doing stuff for Everett, like doing like the PTA thing, which sounds insane. And then I was just
Mm.
buzzed the whole time or like drunk when I got home. When I didn't have Everett too, I would just be when I didn't have him, I could just wake up and just drink as much as I wanted. I didn't have to be like responsible. And then I woke up and I was like Simpsons color yellow, like everything. A couple days before that, when you're dehydrated and your urine's really dark and you're just like, I need to drink more water. What it was like, but I couldn't, no matter how much water I drank, it was just this like reddish, like amber brown color, like Coca-Cola. And I was like, shit, because that's liver failure. And then I noticed like part of my eye was yellow. And I even FaceTimed my friend and I was like, does this look yellow? She's like, yeah, did you like poke your eye? I'm like, no. And then it got progressively worse. And at that point, I thought, well, I clearly have some like liver issues. I'm just going to like cut back. So I still drank like 8 White Claws as opposed to like 18. And I thought that was a good job. And then I woke up like yellow and I was puking blood and um I couldn't breathe and I had all of this like fluid and that's ascites. So I woke up yellow, I woke up unable to breathe, and I had a pneumonia with my right lung collapse. I had sepsis and jaundice, ascites, acute liver failure. And the person who would deliver my alcohol, I became friends with her and I would always get her. She delivered alcohol to me and she was in recovery for her own stuff. And she caught on and she would kind of like put little seeds of like wisdom in about recovery whenever she would deliver alcohol to me. And I became friends with her and I just really liked her. And she's older. So she had that like maternal thing that I was like attracted to of like, oh, this woman has so much wisdom and she's kind to me and like I feel like I can just talk to her. And I felt safe. So I would tell her like everything about like what I was going through with my drinking. And she showed up at my door and she was like, get your ass in the car. You're going to the hospital. And I'm like, I'm not, I'm fine. I'm just tired because of this. She's like, Holly, you're going to the hospital. And I was so stubborn. I booked an appointment with my PCP first because I was like, I'm fine. And I go, my PCP was like, go to the ER. You have acute liver failure. And I went and they took me
Jeez.
right into the ICU and they're like, didn't, if you waited, you would have died. And I was like, oh my God. And then after
I
that, it was,
see you.
yeah, that's how fucking stubborn I
Mhm.
was. It's
Sounds
crazy.
like that your friend, your delivery girl slash friend, was quite the savior.
Angel. Yeah. I call her my
That's
angel because
crazy.
she was a surgical nurse before that job. She only worked that job because her mom was sick so she could be a caretaker, and her mom had just passed away. So, it's just so weird just the timing of it, and getting her and her knowing about sobriety and addiction, it was just all of it
It's huge.
really, really that's I
Yeah.
just think she was because I would have died.
Came
And,
into your life for a reason.
she did, yeah. So then I was in the ICU and I don't remember much. It was a huge blur because I think they gave me Visceral, which is like something to prevent me from freaking out and like pulling out like everything because I didn't have any like what is it? It's called something in encephalopathy. I don't know the word for that, but it's basically when there's ammonia in your brain and you can't like, you're not thinking clearly and stuff. So I didn't have that luckily, but I just had I had organs failing and whatnot. So I was told I wasn't expected to live. I was told to find an advanced directive. And then they gave me steroids that weren't working in the hospital. So
Jeez.
I just prayed a lot. I really did. And I don't know. I had some weird spiritual thing happen to me in the hospital because I don't think I would have survived if it was just me. But I told
Mhm.
whoever or whatever is up there, I call it God now, but for me, God means a lot of different things. It's not like a stereotypical like man in the sky thing. But I just was like, if I can get through this, I will be sober and I will help people. And
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Wow. So how long were you in the hospital?
A month.
A month. Wow. And then what happened when you got out? Was that the December that you quit drinking? The
Yeah. That was my
Okay, so
just
that was
Mm.
was the day I went into the
wow.
hospital. So that's my sobriety date. I had an oxygen tank and I had a walker and I had muscle atrophy, so I had to learn how to walk again. It
Am
was
I just
really
No.
imagining,
hard.
or did you at one point like post pictures of that when you had a walker and stuff? Yeah, I think I remember seeing those. So yeah, that's crazy. So you're lucky to be alive. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm proud of you for
Pretty
sticking to
incredible.
it. And
Yeah.
what have you been doing in your year of sobriety to remain sober?
So the first thing I did was find a sponsor. And I found a sponsor on day 26 on this platform. called WIM. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say that, but
Yeah.
it's a women's international marathon meeting. So every hour the host changes and they have sponsors sponsoring matchups and stuff. And even if you don't feel good in the middle of the night, because I had so many, I still have trouble sleeping sometimes, but early sobriety, you're just kind of like your brain is just resetting itself. So I just couldn't sleep. I felt so happy to be alive that I just could not sleep. Like I was just like, I get to do this. And like the first time I took a shower after like a month, like I was crying in the shower and I was like smiling and I had an oxygen tank with me because I guess like when you shower, like your body it uses a lot. But I was so happy. So I had my pink cloud for a while and I got a sponsor and then the I got out of the hospital on a Friday, and on Monday I went to intensive outpatient and I took med transport for like 6 months just to get there because I couldn't drive. Like I couldn't even like lift myself up and down from the toilet because it was, you just sit there like my body was just in pain. Um so I just really leaned into anybody that had any suggestions. I was like, yes, because whatever I did, I know it's stereotypical, but what I did wasn't working. Where I got myself was death. That was my
Yeah.
so I found women that just I admired and that were strong and didn't make excuses and they didn't feel sorry or ashamed of where they've been. They were like, yep, this happened to me, but this is what I'm doing now. And I go to meetings,
Wow.
I really lean in when like on New Year's Eve, I was not because I wanted to drink, but because I still want to have fun. I still want to go celebrate. So I went to like three
Yeah.
different like meetings and it was a blast. And I was like, this is so fun. Like I got to go to
Hmm.
the conference in Vancouver, Canada over the summer, the big one, and everybody was just dancing and it was sober. It was just like the biggest like sober party and it was so fun and
It's
I was like,
awesome.
"Oh my god." It was amazing.
Hmm.
So cool.
Hmm.
Just finding joy in sobriety is something I never thought we could all do.
Yeah.
Well, I can.
Yeah,
I will
and then
dance. I'll be in the middle of the dance floor.
yeah, I love it even if I look awkward. I'm like, I don't care.
I will twerk.
And then since you've gotten sober a year, you said so you're pre-med, you just got into school and everything. So things are like coming together with your life and things are just being rewarding with your sobriety.
Yeah, there's the gifts of sobriety that they talk about. I wouldn't have had any of this if I wasn't sober. I was in pre-nursing and then I switched to um I really like microbiology, but I'm going to go to Portland State University for biochemistry with a pre-med track as a senior and then I get to take the MCAT next year and apply to med schools and help people. That's my ultimate goal. And I want to eventually, when my son is older, I want to be able to travel and go to places that don't necessarily have healthcare. Even just basic things can make a huge difference, like with health and
And are you gonna like incorporate just wanting to help people in general, but are you gonna like wanna help people with similar
oh,
problems with addiction and
addiction?
alcohol?
I don't know yet. I mean, I think once I understand myself better and who I am as a sober person, I am not opposed to that, but I'm still processing a lot right now of learning who I am. Like I think I told you earlier with I've had people that have reached out to me asking me questions about sobriety and like sponsorship and I'm not there yet, but I
Right.
hope one day I will.
Yeah, makes total sense. And for our listeners out there, if you could give any type of advice to people who are listening that are sober curious or that are having a hard time right now in early sobriety, what advice would you give to them?
That do not try to detox by yourself. That's like a big thing. If you are chemically dependent or physically dependent on alcohol, go to somewhere that you're gonna detox safely. And if you're just sober curious, I think try it, but also alcohol, it doesn't matter if it's one drink. It's poison and it kills your cells. Like, it's damaging. I think that it's been said that we are the culmination of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with the most. So if you want
That's
a
cool.
better life or you want to have something different, if you eliminate alcohol, you can use that energy towards something that you've been wanting to do or change. I mean, even something as small as like weight loss. Like, I was like 230 pounds before and I've lost around 100 pounds. And that was because of cutting out the excess calories. And I don't know, there's so much that
Mhm.
It's an
life
incredible
is
transformation,
Yeah.
better.
physically and emotionally and mentally and every way. It seems like you've made a transformation. So we're extremely impressed and inspired by you. So
Thank
Yes,
you.
definitely.
That's amazing that you're doing a podcast and
I
helping.
didn't know I was even capable of doing anything like this, and I'm so glad I did because I get to meet people like you, and I met
Mhm.
Rachel, and everybody's got their own story of resilience, and it's all so unique, and I love it. So I'm enjoying the podcast for sure.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with
Yeah,
us.
Thank you for
yeah.
having me.
Thank you
Of
for being
course.
vulnerable and sharing some difficult things. We really appreciate it. And yeah, what's the 24-hour period look like now? That's my last question.
Oh
Mhm.
my god, all I do I try to go to
Tell me all the
meetings.
nerdy things you're up to.
I'm in lab a lot, so I look at like microbes and grow bacteria and study a lot. I signed up for like Krav Maga and I like doing yoga. What else? I
Sweet.
don't know. I love like
All healthy
spas.
stuff.
Sometimes I love my ice cream, so I don't know.
It's okay.
I love ice cream. That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. I'm still getting to know who I am, like there's so much that I've discovered, but this in a couple
Yeah.
days will be
Yeah.
14 months. It's crazy.
Awesome.
It goes
Congratulations.
by
Proud of you.
It's
quick.
amazing. Well,
Thanks,
Seriously.
yeah, we
too.
got like
I'm so proud of you.
3.5, 4 years of sobriety between the three of us. So that's pretty cool.
I never thought I could go
Mhm.
a minute, not even kidding.
I
So
know. Here we are.
And you did.
Everything we do, we're doing it sober. So that's pretty cool. So thank you so much for
Yes.
being on, Holly. We really appreciate you. And Rachel, unless you have any other questions, we can close up.
No, thank you so much again.
okay, I will
All right.
spam you with the memes and stuff.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.